such a fan.
Oh
like,
my
I'm so excited to
God.
talk to you.
That's so cool. Thank you.
No, I was talking to Noah. He was like, I think that's the first tattoo I've seen
he's seen?
for the To All the Boys.
To be honest, that's the first tattoo I've ever seen in person about the film. Or the
Really?
franchise. Yeah, the whole
I was
story.
wondering that because I was like, when fans come up to you, I didn't know like what crazy
No,
things
that's
they
new. You
might-
got that, what, like less than a week ago?
Yesterday. I came up, I came up for the junket, obviously, and then like I had some time and I was like, is Brian available? Because I've been following him on Instagram for a while and he was able to do it. It took him like over 2 hours.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
I'm glad you love it.
I do love it. It's
yeah,
very
well,
It's
just like yesterday.
amazing.
Yeah, no,
I
he did a
love
great job.
it.
Okay, I'm glad. Is Emmy here? Is your daughter?
She's in the building.
Actually, the first one is literally one of my favorite romantic comedies of all time. It reminds me of like 10 Things I Hate About You. She's all
Yes.
that, like the classic movies
Yes.
I like grew up with, and that's what I love about it.
you.
There is a great sequence of you in this movie without giving anything too much away. It's almost like a Spike Lee type of shot where like it's on Largie and she's floating down the hall and
Yeah.
singing.
Yeah.
What was it like to shoot that scene? What does doing the shot that way, does it help you with your headspace and like getting into character, especially after a super emotional sequence that she's just gone through?
Absolutely. What it was like to shoot that scene. It was so much fun because we wanted to create a very gray, colorless world in that moment to contrast such like a vibrant world that we've made of all the boys, because we wanted to show that like what she's feeling inside, that feeling inside, and she lives in her head. That feeling seeps out into her real world, and she's gray inside.
Yeah.
So, and she's gray and she's blue. So the colors that we used, everyone was in. It was in blue, like dark blues, and I was in a gray, and we were trying to convey sadness. Right. And then that floating down the hall was kind of, when you're really sad or you're going through something, at least for me, I kind of will like disassociate and I feel like nothing's real.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm like kind of floating, and we wanted to kind of portray that like nothing's real. I don't know what's happening, and so that was just so fun to do, and then I got to just ride. I was just riding on like a little thing, and they were
oh my
pulling
God,
me.
I can't wait
So
for
that was
fans
just
to
fun.
see it. It's literally, it's like one of the best, it's one of the best things you've ever done. I'm so obsessed with that scene.
Thanks.
I love the first date scene with LJ and Peter, and they have like a really beautiful first date. My first date was not like that at all. I was in a group setting, seeing a Tim Allen movie, and it's just like so awkward. Like, do you remember your like first date in like middle school or high school? Did you have like a first date memory like that?
Yeah. Actually, my first date, I think it was at a carnival, so it was actually kind of nice. But it was at a carnival, and we had like the summer fair, and we just rode rides, and it was just ran around, but we were just kids. So.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
So I love the term shipping used with all of these like young adults.
Yes.
People ship
Everyone
Largene and
ships.
Peter, and like John Ambrose McLaren. Like, so is there a classic like TV couple or movie couple that you ship? Like right now, I'm there's so many couples I'm shipping. Like I'm watching Sex Education on Netflix, and I love Otis and Maeve together. Is there TV shows that you're binging right now where you're shipping a certain couple?
I ship Grace and Frankie together forever
Oh
and
my
ever
God,
and ever. I love them together.
I know. Oh my God,
love
they're
them.
so amazing.
Yes, they're so good.
No, I love it so much. And what is something that, like, when you're on a first date, what is something that's non-negotiable in a first date?
In a first date,
Yeah.
what's non-negotiable?
Yeah.
When
Like-
they never ask you about yourself and they
Yes.
only talk about themselves.
That's a turnoff.
I'm kind of like, dang.
I know.
So close.
One of the things I love about your Peter Kay in the movies versus the books is that, like, I love that you added, like, so many different interesting, charming things in the movie. And I mean, like, I was telling Jenny, I love Peter Kay in the books, don't get me wrong, but, like, the whoa, hey. Did you know that was going to be, like, a big classic thing for that character?
So, no, those are, that's actually bad acting is what that
my
is.
God,
It's
it's
like,
not.
it's like when you're trying to convey something, but you just kind of put a filler term in there. But it worked out. The issue is if I do that with all my other characters moving forward. Peter's not the only character that has said whoa, I don't think.
Really? Maybe in Perfect Date a little bit?
Yeah, in Perfect Date too. Yeah,
exactly. I think
exactly.
like just a little bit though, but like it's like classic Peter Kavinsky now, and that's like something
Absolutely.
that you did.
Absolutely, but it was ultimately a mistake that turned into something that was.
Yeah, I love the term shipping and like, you know how all these young people, they're like shipping, I ship LJ and Peter, I ship LJ and like John Ambrose McLaren. What do you feel like about that term shipping, and are there TV shows or movies that you're recently watching now where you're like shipping other couples? Like I love Sex Education on Netflix right now, and
Oh
I
my
ship
God.
Otis and Maeve.
Yeah.
So, like,
I love
so what
Sex
do you
Education.
feel about the term like shipping, and like do you have any like specific couples that you're shipping right now in TV or movies?
I don't have any specific couples that I'm shipping, but I do, however, I do like the term. I think it's an endearing thing. It's like where people are sharing their opinions in forum.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I feel like you're such a great actor because like I see Peter Kavinsky in those movies and not Noah Centineo. And I'm wondering, when fans come up to you, do they like expect you to be kind of like Peter Kavinsky? Like, do you feel like you have to like turn it on? Like, how is it with like fans and all?
No, I feel like I can just be myself with anyone, and so it's very nice and comforting to know that they're just all full of love, and I can reflect that.
I love the scene with Peter and LJ in the first date. I remember my first date in high school. It was like so awkward. It was in a group setting. I think we went to see like a Tim Allen movie or something. Do you remember your like first date in like middle school or high school? I feel like nobody's is as classic as Peter and LJ's, but do you have like a first date memory?
It was a long time ago. I went to the movies and saw Cowboys vs. Aliens with Daniel Craig. And
what a great first date movie.
it was cool. We like held hands, and it was, the thing with like, I've said this on I think on like an interview, but it's like, oh, and you're like in the movie theater and your pinkies are both your hands on the armrest and your hearts are beating. And it's cool.
I was looking on your Instagram and I was like, oh yeah, he's some tattoos that they'll like have to cover up for John Ambrose.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
no, I'm like the nerdiest bad boy ever. I had like nose ring and earrings and
yeah.
tattoos and stuff, but I had to take the nose ring out, and then the hole closed in a day.
Oh my gosh.
In a day.
Dude.
So I was very irritated about that. But it's, here we are. We survived.
Yes, well, congrats on the movie.
Thank you
like
so
when
much.
you were cast as John Ambrose McLaren, like I've read the books and I was like, this is literally going to be like so good with him in this role. And
Thank you so much.
I'm not kidding. Like I was blown away last night with
Aw.
how charming you were. I was like, oh my God, I'm like loving him so much.
Oh, good. That's awesome. That really means a lot.
Well, and like, so, I mean, I will say, like, I am a Peter Kavinsky fan, but like,
course.
I love John Ambrose. I love your portrayal of John Ambrose. And you know that there's so many dedicated fans
Sure.
coming into this that have read the books,
Right.
that have loved the movie.
Right.
So what was that pressure like? Trying to fill this role of like, because we already know we have Peter Kavinsky,
Right.
now we have another love interest for Laura Jean here.
Totally.
What was your conversations like with Jenny, and what was it like on set with
Well,
them?
I mean, so there's some like unspoken things, and there's some things that are like obviously like a general dialogue between fans and people that like fans, the diehards that are like real fans of the books, and even the diehards that haven't read the books but understand what it is, and they know the film and whatnot. The way that he's described in the books is not the way that I look at all. He's tall, like Robert Redford
Right.
type, and someone that can go toe to toe with a Noah Centineo's Peter Kavinsky. Like Noah Centineo, in my eyes and mind and heart, is like one of the most charming, loving, lovable people in the world. I adore him immensely.
Yeah.
Like, how can my John Ambrose stand up to Noah Centineo's Peter Kavinsky? And so those are a conversation that was had kind of early on. I think that John Ambrose has a charming kind of old soul that you could tell is very settled, and I think that the maturity is the thing that is the most intimidating thing for what a Peter Kavinsky could be.
Yeah.
The maturity, the understanding of like situations and scenarios, the way that he's able to carry himself and handle himself and all of these things, but as well as just kind of the parallel between him and Laura Jean is the thing that is so like, I think that the text alone kind of takes care of the thing. And then whatever I can personally bring to it, hopefully would just kind of add on to that. So I'm grateful that it translated, and it means a lot to hear that John Ambrose is charming and likable and whatnot, because like it's hard. I'm a Peter Kavinsky stan myself.
Yeah. Oh my God,
I am Team Peter. I ultimately think that Laura Jean should end up with John Ambrose in her life, but I think that right now,
Peter's,
that's the move. That chemistry is electric.
Yeah. So obviously with like this younger generation, the term shipping and
Yeah.
shipping a couple, like shipping Peter Kay and LJ or shipping
Totally.
John Ambrose McLaren and LJ is a big thing.
Absolutely.
What do you think about like that term shipping, and are you watching TV shows, or is there a movie recently where you're like shipping a certain couple?
I mean, my biggest ship that I sail on till I am in a grave is Ross and Rachel.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
we could talk Jim and Pam. I would say that like I would say
Jim and Pam, yeah.
Jim and Pam. We could say Michael and Holly.
Yes.
You know, we could kind of go through the list. Currently, I'm an anime fan.
Okay.
Okay, I'm a very, very big anime fan. Have you heard of Seven Deadly Sins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's
I'm not too familiar, but
no worries. There's two characters that like ultimately probably wouldn't ever end up together because he is a fairy king and she is a giant, but like their love for one another is like the sweetest thing in the world.
Oh my God.
And I don't know how it can ever work, but it's perfect, and I love them so much.
I love it. You're like a great like nerd as
I'm
well.
a weeb.
Yeah. No, they're
Yeah.
wrapping me up. I appreciate it so
No
much. What's your
worries.
favorite John Hughes movie?
Oh God.
Do you have one?
I mean,
I'm
it's
like
got
an
it's
Uncle
got
Buck fan.
it's probably 16 Candles.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Because of
probably
like
16.
everything with this movie.
It just
too.
feels so good.
I know.
I feel good watching his films anyway. But like
Yes.
16 Candles just like does something for me.
Yeah,
It's very
congrats,
nice to meet
Jordan.
you.
Here, I'm like legit such a big fan of
my-
your books and everything. Like I literally just got this done. I'm like, and like I love these books
Is
so
that real?
much. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I'm like, yes,
What?
this is like for this
Are
movie.
you kidding me?
No, I like
Aw.
literally like I'm like such a big fan of you and like
Oh my
your books and
God,
everything.
I'm so honored.
No, so I have like tons of questions and stuff, so I'll try and like get through everything.
Okay.
I loved the sequel so much.
Thank you.
The first one is like one of the best romantic comedies I've ever seen. It was in my top 5 that year it came out. I love these movies so much because they remind me of the classic high school teen romances I grew up with, like 10 Things I Hate About You and like She's All That. I know that the books were a lot based on your life growing up in Virginia, but was there any other like films or books that you pulled from when you were writing this trilogy?
Gosh, I think Little Women for me for
so
sure because you know, as I was like thinking about the character of Laura Jean, I was thinking about Beth and how I think young women often read that book and think, oh, I'm like Joe or I'm, you know, an Amy.
Yeah.
And people rarely go, I'm a Beth.
I
because
know.
I think Beth
That's true.
is, you know, like what's going on in her head.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious about because she just wants to be at home playing the piano
Yeah.
and be near her sisters. And I thought people were usually bored by that. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we look and see what's going on in there and make that really compelling?
Yeah.
And for me, Laura Jean is that.
Yeah. Did you see the new movie?
And I loved
Greta,
it.
Yeah, me too.
I
It was
loved
in my
it.
top 5
Yeah.
of the. I was obsessed with it. I'm a huge Team Peter fan, but Jordan as John Ambrose in this was so charming. I was actually blown away with how much I love John Ambrose in the movie. I think that like for me personally in the first movie, I thought that like Peter Kay was even like more charming, more so maybe than he was in the books, and I don't know if that's just like Noah or anything. I wanted to get your perspective on the Peter Kay in the movies versus the Peter Kay in the books.
I think that since you're an OG fan, then you really know what's up.
Yeah.
And I think that Noah is so likable, and he brought a lot of that into the character and his own like softness
Yeah.
into the character. And I think other actors might have taken it in a different direction. I think that Peter in the books is maybe, I think is good-hearted. Do you know what I mean? I think he's someone who genuinely wants to be liked
Yeah.
by people, and that drives a lot of how he behaves. But maybe he might come off a little bit more cocky in the books than he does in the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Noah really like captured a lot of the more like hidden sensitivity.
Yeah,
of the
for
character.
sure. One of my favorite scenes in this movie and also in the book is the time capsule sequence. And then without giving anything away later with Jen and LJ, like that was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. But if you were to put something from middle school or high school in a time capsule, what would it have been?
I mean, it probably is my love letters,
Yeah.
which I still have in a hat box because
Yeah.
you know I wrote. I still have them, so maybe that I think those were probably my most prized possession in my diaries. Like everything that was like,
Yeah.
it feels like you're putting. Like I often think of myself as like Voldemort with his like Horcruxes. And you put like little pieces of your soul. Feel like books are that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like pieces of you exist in the world forever.
in a way. And I think every time you write something down of yourself, anybody, not just like an author, you are putting a little piece of yourself out there.
Yeah.
And so
I love that you're an author that like pulls from like all these different books and stuff. Like I feel like we have the same interests. I love this scene in the movie, the first date scene with Peter and Lara Jean, and like how like really sweet, and she doesn't know how to act. I remember my first date was like in a group setting, and we went to see like a Tim Allen movie in high school. Do you remember like your like official first date that you had?
We did a lot of like hanging out in high school.
Yeah.
I think like an official date would be more like the dances.
Yeah.
And so like I think my homecoming was like an official date, but I don't even know if it was like, it wasn't like romantic or anything. So it was not like Peter and Lara Jean's first date.
Neither was
By
mine.
any
That's why I was
means.
like, I wish I had that. I wish I like waited to have that. So obviously, like with a lot of these like young adult readers, like the term shipping is so big right now. And I wanted to get your thoughts on the term shipping, and if there's TV shows that you're binging right now where you're like shipping a certain couple. Like I love Sex Education, like on Netflix with like Otis and Maeve. I love shipping them. I love After with Tessa and Hardin, Anna Todd's novels. So I'm wondering for you, like, what do you think of the term shipping when people come up to you and say like, oh my God, I ship LJ and Peter, I ship LJ and John Ambrose McLaren. What do you think about that term? And are there specific couples that you're watching in TV or movies right now that you ship?
I think I tend to get really involved as well when I'm watching, and I definitely get on board those ships.
Yes.
I think also it can be a little bit like, I think as someone who loves love triangles, I think then it's natural to have the different ships. But I think with like Peter and Lara Jean versus like Peter and John Ambrose McLaren, I feel like it's possible to be on both ships. You know what I mean? Because I kind of am.
Especially in this movie.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, like I think the last time, what was I, like definitely when I watched Scandal, I was like on I had my own like ship, which did not sail.
Okay.
I was Olivia and Jake.
You were?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
I was.
Okay. Yeah. No, I definitely.
He took things. He got to a certain level in the last one where I was like, I'm not sure if I'm on board with you doing all that.
Yeah.
Jake, but I was into that.
Yeah. Okay. And last question for you. I know the books are set in Virginia. I lived in Northern Virginia for a long time. I work for NBC in Baltimore now. And then now obviously the films are shot in Vancouver, set in Oregon. I'm sorry if this is a repeat question for you, but is that something that, like, did you absolutely want to, originally when you got these movies made, did you want the setting to be in Virginia?
I mean, yeah, I would have loved it because I'm definitely a Virginia girl. But they were filming in Vancouver, and Vancouver really does not look like Virginia.
Nothing like it, yeah.
So, yeah, I would have loved it, but it just didn't work out that way.
But then, like, you were obviously, like, happy with, like, the Oregon setting and everything.
Yeah,
and
like,
it separates it from like, a lot of other, I feel like, young adult stories, too, with that Oregon setting.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm loyal to Virginia.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would have loved it. But, yeah, I think it turned out really beautiful. And the look of Vancouver is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you've got, like, the water, and, like, it was wonderful to spend time there, too. So
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jenny.
So nice
I
to
really
meet you.
appreciate it.